And we're alive. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Holy Crap, the Vlogcast. Vlogcast comes from a skeptical point of view to answer some of the questions of why. This Vlogcast started as a combination of spite and the Streisand effect because, man, muscle memory is a thing. It's a bitch when you lose it, but man, it feels so good when you start to get it back. And then realize all the things that you're doing that are just all kinds of, why did I do it that way? Oh, right, because I got used to that. Part of this is to follow through with the old adage that sometimes the journey is more important than the destination. I'm your main host. I'm known as Shujin Tribble, and you can find me pretty much everywhere under that name. That's Shujin. Good to be back with you. This is going to be a little bit on the weird side because, almost surprisingly, being able to join us from the Midwest of the U.S., where things are all over the place in many regards, Bridget Fitch, and yes, I still remember both names. You guys remember when she bitched me out because I only called her one thing, and it wasn't bitch?
Yeah.
Hi, you.
Yeah, hi. It is 14C here. That'd be 57 in Barbarian or Freedom Units. And we had a bunch of excitement earlier with having to come out because of a factory fire and benzene burning and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, it'd be nicer if you could, not do that anymore. That'd be great.
Yeah. It started around 2:30 local, and they're still trying to contain that stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense. And
Yeah.
from the West Coast, who is chiming in, and the first thing I heard when she chimed in on the call was chanting. Iowa Cloud from the left coast. How you doing?
Bridget. We
Yeah,
have Bridget
hi, y'all.
with us.
This is shit I got to put up with every week.
Hey,
I didn't
I
say
love
it was
her.
bad. I didn't say it was bad.
I think she's opinionated and a beach, and I love her for it.
Oh,
You're just happy that she's here so you don't have to be stuck on a call with me all alone.
Point to shoe.
Yeah.
This is when we need to put up a graphic that says shoe one.
You know, if I was working things a little bit better, I'd be more than happy to just go ahead and do that. But the best I could do right now would be to maybe grab a 4x6 photo glossy paper that I'd otherwise use for printing photos and a marker and just write the +1. But I'm not going to do that right now because I was trying to justify saying I've got class, but no. Ask anybody.
yeah. In the host chat, I dropped a little link about the goings on around here.
Yeah.
We're at work. Yeah.
And again, glad you're able to make it.
Me too.
Yeah, Bridget sent me off a text message to let me know part of what was going on out that way, and I was very much of the. I just woke up. Why am I? What's going? Wait. All right. Wait a minute. Let me pull up the news article. Oh, this is not good.
Oh, you looked it up. Cool.
I'm sorry. You were expecting me to do what?
I don't know. Commiserate? I don't know.
Commiserate. Han, the closest thing I've ever had to deal with as far as to hunker down in place because of various chemicals in the atmosphere was a college, probably when one of the guys in the suite used the bathroom. It's about the closest thing I could think of. No. Do you remember? Do you remember how I've pointed out that I've done ham radio, emergency communications, and all that stuff?
Yeah.
So that kind of thing, that intrigues me to the point where it's like, I'm glad I'm not there.
Yeah. But at least the kitties and the puppies are okay because they did evacuate the Humane Society. So.
Yeah, I saw that, and that was very good of them.
Yeah.
So, And since she went ahead and did it, looking it up over here, it is 13 real degrees of temperature out here where I live currently, which is a damn sight better than it was the week before.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
It very much was. And this week was very much not happy for me because somebody decided to, let's see, while we were on the air, yeah, pretty much while we were on the air, somebody came over to the shop and broke our compactor. They ripped a relay out from under one of the panels, and they burnt. We had one of those little handy stick pride flag size kind of things in the door that goes to outside where we normally service customers, and it would peek through the door crack just because of the way that it was. They pulled on it a bit to pull it out enough so that they could light it on fire.
Oh my goodness.
And we've also got one of those those old timey drive into the petrol station. I know we've got a Brit listening, so I don't want to say it the wrong way. And you drive in and ding 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 ding, one of those tubes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they pulled that out of the wall and then threw it into one of the big donation bins. So it was refound. Fortunately, it's one of those things where it's just a rubber tube and it just fits on the nozzle. So you just just kind of. All right, I shouldn't do it that way. You just stick it into the thing and
thing to do.
Yeah. So that one wasn't a problem. But they did something really stupid twice over. Item number 1, and you'll see where the stupidest piece is in just a second. Item number 1, they flipped the bird to one of the cameras. Now, admittedly, the camera is not of the best of quality. However, like I said, even stupider yet than doing that, they've been in the shop before. Which means
That's not very bright.
internal pictures, I'm sure we've got a better picture of them. And we are very firmly convinced that they are not smart enough to stay the frick away. So we're waiting for them to show up again. So we kind of ran through some of the ideas as to what kind of stuff the police are going to get him on and prosecute him for. So damage, vandalism of property, which is going to be many dollars, considering that it's going to be until sometime during next week before it can be fixed because part had to be ordered. That's a lot of downtime and a lot of lost productivity. It's debatable whether or not you could go ahead and say that the burning of the pride flag is a hate crime, but leave that one aside for a second. Attempted arson.
Yeah.
It's not a far stretch to say attempted arson.
That's a pretty serious charge.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the. Now, we are, of course, not lawyer type people. We're not well versed in, prosecution and litigation, that kind of thing. So we're just kind of going off the top of our head and thinking, yeah, somebody's going to be on the hook for a lot. So.
Yeah. If you find out who it is, I'm sure PD will be very interested.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. After all of the times of, well, if they show up again, let us know. Yeah, yeah. This time it's been bumped up just a wee bit up the chain of command. So, yeah, we're expecting stuff.
Okay.
So, as mentioned, yes, we do have our resident Brit in the chat. So, if you'd like to join, of course, be part of the live chat over there while we're recording live on the weekends. Most weekends. Feel free to join us over there on YouTube. More than happy to have you. Stephanie, good morning. It's good to know that things are going well for you over there. And yes, had also commented, hi, Bridget, nice that you could make it. So say we all.
Oh, Oh, thank you. I feel so loved. What? Look, you don't love me?
It's not biblically, no.
Didn't say anything about biblically. Of course not.
I mean, we did share a hotel room once.
Yeah,
You
we
wore
did.
my shirt.
Yes, I did.
I'm bad, and I don't care.
You're as bad as Dave motherfucking Foda.
I feel honored to be mentioned along with, in the same breath as, Dave motherfucking Foda.
Yeah, referencing a Facebook post that he made some years ago.
I'm just, you know what, for the most of you that might be watching that don't have any idea, Dave, I'm going to truncate for a couple seconds here. Dave Foda, he's a wonderful personality. He's got a wicked sense of humor. He's good people when all is said and done. He's had his own troubles and tribulations. Yes, I'm intentionally using the expression, leave me alone. But when all is said and done, he's good people. And we always, always want the best for him because he is good people. So if by some whim of the imagination, Dave, you happen to see this one, fuck you too. And before anybody gets on my shit about it, he would be laughing and would go ahead and salute me back the same way.
And he would also remember that Facebook post too. It was about Heretic Woman and I.
You know, you get the two of you together, man. This, my God. Okay. We're just gonna do this one just really quickly. You, Heretic Woman, and the other two little busty biddies together, all at the same time.
Who, Miss Susie and Miss Hitty Titty? No.
Oh my God. The how
This actually?
How there was still any alcohol left in that vicinity of ReasonCon is beyond me with you guys. I swear to God.
Hey, we can pull our weight for short people.
Sure. Yeah, we'll use that.
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. That'll work. And since I'm sure Io's got no clue, ReasonCon. Oh my God, how it's been so many years now. God damn it. ReasonCon 2 was down there in
Hickory, North Carolina.
God, it's just part of the problem is that it was a regular work day for me. It was a 12 straight hour drive down, and then it was a 12 straight hour, almost a little bit more actually, 12-hour drive back, because had to make a side stop, and it was a great event. We all had a great time. There was some things that have stood the test of time, some things that haven't, but when all is said and done, we had a hell of a great time. And believe me, when we're seeing all these other podcasters who were there, and I told Tiny Triple that that's Tom and Cecil over there from Cogdis. He's just like, what? No, really? No, that's not what they look like, is it? I'm like, yeah. Say hello. Hi. Are you really? Tom, do the intro. Oh, yeah. Recording live. And he's like, it was a great moment.
And then, Noah, Lucians, and Lucinda.
And it was great to be able to see everybody. I'm truly sorry that there are a number of our sister shows that are no longer go. Actually, come to think of it, I think from the siblings, I think we're the only one that's left, so to speak. But
Yeah.
that's all right. That's all right. Like I've said before, I'm going to keep doing this until it's not fun anymore. It's not exactly fun, some of the topics, but you get the idea. Any case, let's go ahead and get everything rolling over here because I've got stuff I got to do, and I got buttons I got to press. So let me switch everything on over. So shoot, hold that thought 1 second because I screwed something up. Countdown timer, you stop. I did not update the topic for this. See, I had a whole bunch of things I was trying to get done. That's what happens. Let me try this again. There we go. 5 minutes on the clock. 5-minute freestyle starts now. Toast. I think I've used this as a topic before, and probably for the very same reason. For those of you that are looking on the video right now, you see what I'm doing. I'm uncorking a bottle. I don't do this very often. I don't do it nearly as often as I used to. But it's to use an expression from Lando Malari, today, Mr. Morden, is a very special day. And also, I know that normally I go ahead and I say that the day has not changed over from Saturday to Sunday for me because I've not been to sleep yet. It's still Saturday as far as I'm concerned. Hyperextended Saturday, but Saturday nonetheless. Well, in this case, that doesn't qualify. I have in my hand over here, as I do typically on these days, is a bottle of the wine that I normally would get around this time of the year. I've still got a number of bottles left from several years ago. It, is what it is. It's okay. And I do announce it. It is from Woodbury Vineyard out there outside of Fredonia, New York. You've heard me talk about Fredonia many a time. Woodbury Vineyard, nice folks. Very nice folks. I'm glad that they're still in business after all these years. Today, meaning literally, today is the 7th of September. This day I met my wife. She who had came into, and I've told the story many a time, came into band late. She was waiting for her friend before band. They were waiting at the front of the music building, which unfortunately has 2 fronts to it because one's the old original building, one's the new built-up part of the building. They were running late, so they decided finally, I can't wait anymore. They meet in the middle. Where were you? Where were you? All right, fine. Where's the band room? They came down to the band room and opened up the door, peek in around it, and there I am inside with everybody else. No instrument because first class for band, you don't bring your instrument. You're getting your music. So I saw them peek around the door, so that they've got their little clarinet cases. I waved them in. Come on in. You're in the right place. Go ahead. And didn't think anything of it. Hours later, I go to see if a friend of mine is still over in the girls' dorm. And I go up there to the room. And maybe she still got the same room. She was in a single because that's the way that she wanted it. And I go up there, and from down the hallway, I hear, "Shoot," obviously not my real name, "Shoot-jen," and here she comes. Nancy comes down. Big old bear hug, so good to see you. I didn't know if I was going to see you again. And she opens up the door, and she says, "I want you to meet my new roommate." Now, like I said, Nancy did not want a roommate, so she intentionally got a single. I have to pay a little bit extra for it at the time, but, is what it is. And this little half Japanese girl sitting on her bed And she looks over at me and she wags a finger. She's like, I know you. What are you talking about? I came into band late, remember? Not really, no, I guess. Because just a fluke of the randomness of the universe. I went to the school that was farthest away from my house, where I was growing up on Long Island, and still stay inside of the state. I wanted to go for music. They accepted me, provisionally. I should not have met her. If she had done what all of her siblings had done, she'd have gone to Geneseo instead. She decided that she wanted to go for music recording technology, which was a new thing. So, here's to my lady. Here's to the randomness of the universe. Sometimes it's just working in our favor. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it just doesn't care. Usually it doesn't care. But best of all, I have a memory I have held on since 1988. And later today, we will be going back to the school, and I will be doing as I have for years, since 2005. I'm going to go back. I'm going to leave flowers in that band room. And I'm going to remember. To all of you, thank you for making this all worthwhile. Now, why am I using a mug like that? This lovely little piece. This was given to me as a gift from part of my family. And yeah, I could have used an actual wine glass, but truth be told, I didn't want to feel that pretentious tonight, just because I drink coffee out of this often, so it's just kind of one of those things, which is really good, by the way. You get one of those little espresso machines. Just it's perfect size. Just one shot, just down. I'm a weirdo because what I usually do is I fill it up twice and put it into a big insulated tumbler because because it's hot and I get to put extra sugar and creamer in there because that's the way that I am. And if anybody's got a problem with that, let me know, because I'd really like to get some correspondence once in a while. That'd be really nice. Interact with me sometimes. Leave me alone. That's the way it's going to go. It'll be time for the horrible scopes. So, for those of you that know what your astrological sign is, cool. Those of you that don't, you can just make it up as you go along because that's the way that it works around over here. And if you want to randomize it a little bit for yourself, choose just one, just because. You can get one of those cool little D12s from the nice folks that like us over there in Fredonia, as I mentioned, over at Heart of the Game Fredonia. They'll happily take your money, maybe even ship you a die or 3 or 5, 6, however many. That's Heart of the Game Fredonia. Hail, hail, Fredonia, home of the Blue Devil. I will be down there tomorrow. Like I said, I will check to see if the Mimic is in the window. I don't know. I haven't been in contact with him recently. That's on me. I'll fix that later. Don't worry about it. Now, this week, we're kind of feeling a little bit like Flounder from the movie Animal House. You've seen that movie, right? 1978. Mm-hmm. Oh, boy, this is going to be great. I don't know if that's a good impersonation. I don't know. I don't remember. I haven't actually watched it in a very long time. I don't care. We have been finding warning labels that are just a little bit out of place or, just blatantly wrong. Not talking about classics, like Do Not Stop Chainsaw with Hand. That's a fun one. Or Remove Clothes Before Ironing. The classic ones. Mm-hmm. Now, those are too easy. That's low-hanging fruit right there. We're going into weirdness territory, which is exactly what you come here for, isn't it? Aries, You've been on the internet long enough to have seen the wild west of fantasy posts. So you've likely heard the fable, story, and legends that would have prompted this warning label: do not put babies or animals in this microwave. So this week, we're not sure if the put the dog in the microwave to dry it after a bath story is true or not. Doesn't matter. What does is that we're all convinced it's just plausible enough. Just don't be that guy.
Chorus. We're a few short months away from end of the year party shopping. No, we're not going to use the C word yet. But the idea of this warning is just confusing. See if you can figure out what this warning on string Christmas lights is supposed to mean. For inside or outside use only. So this week, really? Indoor or outdoor? Huh? Fine. Guess that means we'll have to figure out what trans-dimensional plane of existence we're not supposed to use these lights on and try using them there. Just to piss off the company. Usually, we'll just find the location and let you try using them. No reason for us to lose atomic cohesion, right?
Yeah, about that, by the way. I think I figured out why that one exists, to ensure that people don't try to use them underwater. It's the only plausible explanation.
Maybe.
Yeah. I had a thought just a moment ago. Oh yeah, Arashi brought a mimic to the show yesterday night. It was this cute little treasure chest jumping up and down in time to the music.
Is
Yeah.
it as cute when you're face down inside of it and it's trying to digest you?
Well, maybe Arashi, but not you or me.
That's the point.
Gemini, your warning would be so sadly obvious as if it wasn't totally reasonable. On a bottle of sleeping pills, it says, may cause drowsiness. So this week, look, it's in the name of the product. This is on par with the may contain peanuts warning on a bag of roasted peanuts. The only reason this would make sense is if it was a bottle of homeopathic sleeping pills. You know, the ones that are made from powdered sugar, compacted into the shape of a pill. If extra sugar in your diet makes you sleepy, go see your doctor. There's a few other symptoms as well, and homeopathic pills are a bunch of bunk. I'm going to find that link from Marketplace and I'm going to give it to you for the show notes.
Actually, what we need in the show notes is also the link to the 1023 campaign.
1023?
Yeah, the 1023 campaign. The guys over there at Merseyside, I don't remember if it was specifically them, but definitely when James Randi used to be around. Which, by the way,
yes,
James,
I see him.
what they would do is they would get the entire audience to go out to the local places, buy a bottle of homeopathic sleep remedies, and on stage they would all just, okay, ready, pop them open, boom, whole audience of everything popping open, 1, 2, 3, and they'd chug them all down and grind them up and chew them up and swallow, and just to prove that they do the homeopathy, they do nothing.
Yeah, I saw James Randi do that in person.
I've got 2 of the links for you right now, and I'm going to track down the Marketplace link.
You're so good. Oh, God, James. I miss him. Such a good guy.
I do too. I got to meet him at TAM in 2012 and sat in the floor at his feet and listened to him tell stories about his childhood. It was just amazing.
He was so good. Cancer Moonchild. Outdoor airsoft tournaments will be coming to a close for the season, but That doesn't mean you get off scot-free. Yes, there is a warning on some airsoft weapons, and it is not the obvious one you're thinking of. According to reports, there is a poorly translated warning for an imported airsoft weapon that says, "Don't point at the creature." So this week, we don't know what creature you're being warned about. Could be a camel, could be an owl bear. Most creatures don't understand what you're doing if you just point the muzzle at them. But trust us, you pull that trigger, you better be ready to run your ass off.
Leo, you have to understand, Leo, that even though you think the world revolves around you, it almost kind of does. See, when you go somewhere, regardless of how, you're ever so slightly pushing the earth in the opposite direction. So keep that in mind when we read your warning label. Warning: this product moves when used. So this week, we're not too worried about you needing this one since it's printed on the bottom of a skateboard. We've seen you recently. You're not in any shape to be balancing on a skateboard, let alone driving one. Invest in one of those rechargeable, gyroscopically stabilized, and big wheel devices instead.
Oh, right. That was Leo. Oh, there we go. Virgo. Your warning comes from a Japanese commercial. Yes, they're all as insane or more so than you think they are. I'm being called out here. I'm reading ahead. But the problem is we're not sure if it's for a Nissan automobile or a Nissan instant ramen cup. Your TV commercial warning says, do not attempt. Cars can't jump on trains. So this week, honestly, when it comes to Japanese commercials, this one could go either way. So imagine sitting in a self-driving Nissan eating a Nissan ramen on your way to the office. But the office is in a forest and the car drives you straight up a tree to get to the treehouse where your office is at. That would be tame compared to some real commercials they have. Or is it the real one? Yeah, I drive a Nissan. I like my Nissan. I'll never buy another Nissan, but that's another thing. I like my car. She's a good car. She used to be an RCMP detective's car. Yeah, when I first turned her on and the Bluetooth radio stuff came up, it said RCMP, a bunch of connection information about an RCMP phone. And I'm looking at it and going, oh, this was a cop car.
And I thought all the cars from the RCMP had hooves. Libra, look,
Only in Ottawa.
We all know that you take directions very literally. This time, a company producing topical pain relief gel. Pay attention, by the way, to this one, Bridget. This one, you're going to love this one. They knew about you and wrote this warning with you specifically in mind. We're very convinced of this. It says, after applying to the affected area, wash your hands. Unless the affected area is your hands. So this week, topical pain relief gel works by numbing the nerves where it's spread across. If you're planning on being sadistic to your lover this weekend, keep this in mind. You're welcome.
Scorpio, your warning actually kickstarted this week's theme, so enjoy this one. Bread maker may smoke a bit the first time you use it. This is normal and common to most electrical products. So this week, no. No, it's not. If you have an electrical product that smokes the first time you use it and it doesn't operate on vacuum tubes, then no, this is not normal. If that happens, don't switch it off. Don't touch it directly. Pull the electrical plug at the wall and be ready with any fire suppressant device that you might have available. You do have a fire extinguisher in the kitchen, right? When was the last time you checked it? Sounds like it might be time to replace it.
It's a good idea to replace all fire suppressants and smoke alarm batteries at the same time. Make sure the entire house is safe.
That's a nice dream for me right now.
At least the smoke detector batteries.
I can do that.
Because the last thing you need is to be doing one of these shows and hearing a beep, beep.
I've had
Bleep.
that happen.
Sagittarius, due to this warning coming, some of you will be ineligible to listen to this scope. Please know that we are sorry in advance. Sorry, not sorry. Your warning on a device reads, if you are blind or cannot read English, do not use this product until the warnings have been explained to you. So this week, do you have a seeing eye Shetland pony? They're super adorable. We're specially made sneakers so they don't break floor tiling. And they read Spanish as well as they read English. And they're so cute.
They're adorable. You're adorable. Capricorn, we commend you on making your own personal calorie spreadsheet so you can stick to a diet. Now, understand that we here at Horrible Scope Central, we do not partake in diets, but we respect your novel approach, which is why there is a food-based warning that we should make sure that you're aware of. Because it says on the tube wrapping for your food, yes, a tube wrapping, warning, raw cookie dough, do not consume without cooking. So this week, whatever is a full day's calorie supply of tubed freezer cookie dough, we hope that you enjoy it, because we're going to pass on that, unless it's chocolate chip.
C is for cookie, that's good enough for me. C is for cookie, that's good enough for me.
You know what? Before the end of the week, I will do the math and I will find out how much frozen cookie dough would be a full day's supply of calories. Whether it's good calories or bad, I don't care. I want to find out. How many sticks do you have to eat to get through a week of just having just calories?
Aquarius, we know it's not your birthday coming up, but we know you've been selected to be the pickup artist for the office cake. We can let you know that there's a warning printed on the cake box that says, do not flip upside down. So this week, that warning is actually printed on the bottom of the box. Well, it's just too late for that warning now, ain't it? Insist on a redo of the cake before anyone in the office finds out.
Or cakey. Pisces, we understand you want to be efficient, but maybe this warning is worth paying attention to. It's written on an automatic shower cleaner. You know the type that hangs from the shower head, you push a button and 5 minutes later it sprays the shower with a cleaning solution? Well, it says on it not to be used as body cleaner. So this week, they don't want you to use the scrubby bubbles made of bleach on your skin. Why? You want to be as clean as possible, right? That stuff will kill 99.5% of bacteria on any surface it lands on. Don't let them tell you how to run your life.
I mean, kind of makes sense. You want to be as clean as possible, and what better way than by getting rid of all the... All right, there are such things as good bacteria. Whatever. Deal with it later. Those are your horrible scopes for this week. Remember, if you like what you got, don't much care, because you didn't help me, so But if you'd like to get a nicer or naughtier one for yourself or someone else, you can bribe me by asking, because vanity is actually a commercial product over here. Or if you'd like to literally bribe me, you can actually do that by spending money over on the coffee page, coffee.com/Icarus the Lunar Guard. I'll have these posted at the end of the week as usual. Tumblr, Facebook, Coffee, Discord, Blue Sky, because I actually remember to do that these days, and I don't know how. I just do. You'd think I'd actually have an automated way of doing that, but no, of course not. Why would I ever do that? That would be efficient. That would be silly. I don't know how it's supposed to work, so it's the way it's going to be. This is episode 547 on the docket, Your Honor. Would you tithe 10% of the population? Now, I know that the week ahead there is a date of significance coming up. Don't care. Which is not quite the meaning that you think that it might be. I say don't care because I don't care to go into it. I wouldn't be able to. I'm not going to say that I still have nightmares. I have daymares. If it pops up into my head, I am transported back in time to the day, and I don't want to be doing that anymore. Don't get me wrong. I still know and remember all too well. And that right now, that's pretty much it. But I did a little bit of hunting and a little bit of snooping and double-checked some pieces, because we know full well that for, folks like me and folks like Io, the furry fandom comprises, well, it is disproportionately part of the LGBTQIA plus community. Also disproportionately neurodivergent. But the overall population of the U.S. is close to 10%. By several estimates. Could be a little bit more, could be a little bit less. 10% seems to be a decent enough number to work off of. And if there's one thing that we remember, is that there are a number of very specifically Christian religions where your tithe is supposed to be 10% of your income, whether it's gross or net. I don't know. I don't think I've ever been able to figure that part out. I don't care. Because I don't feel that I should be compelled to give money to a voluntary organization. But that's just me. Which is not the reason I don't go to church anymore. Anyway. But it kind of came to me. What's been happening in the United States, especially to the civil rights, the personal rights, the autonomy, how the population is being dealt with, that is effectively 10% of the population that is being sacrificed. Call it what you will. And I think it's worth kind of going down part of this rabbit hole once you start to remember I don't remember if it's considered a poem or what the writing style would be for the first they came for thee. I don't remember what it's actually supposed to be called, but hopefully you guys know what we're talking about.
Yeah, Niemoller wrote it.
So let's kind of follow this down just a little bit. One of the most notable things in the U.S. Oh, and I just saw Todd popped in and waved hello. Hi, Todd. From the other room every 3.5 minutes. Yeah, that was in reference to the smoke alarms going off. Yeah, I hate that. One of the things that was most notable here in the United States some years back was and I have a hard time pronouncing it correctly, Oberfeld decision, which was the one that, for some stupid reason, the United States it was SCOTUS that that handed that one down. The Supreme Court, the highest court, the highest federal court in the country, who handed down a thing that said, yeah, you know what? If you want to marry someone who is of the same gender as you, the same sex as you, and I don't remember specifically enough which they were specifically on about. I think it was for sex. That, yeah, that's perfectly valid, and you're just married, and that's the thing. So everybody should just go ahead and acknowledge that, and just do that, and you just go ahead and do the paperwork. That'd be wonderful. I remember that I stayed up overnight so that I could tell my kid in the morning, so that I could be awake when he got up for school and make breakfast. And I literally stayed up all night for it because I didn't want to miss the opportunity. And it's only been a handful of years, and suddenly, oh well, it's back on the block of what's going to be happening. Is it going to be brought up again in some other way? Because if we've know one thing about this court, they just love precedent. Now, don't they?
Oh.
So some of this is probably going to get a little bit distressing, a little annoying. So if you've got stuff and you want to pause and rant and rail, hey, cool, fine, no worries. We'll be more than happy to give you support. But just to make sure that anybody that might be of the community who might be watching up through this point, just know full well, you're part of our family. You're our brothers, you're our sisters, you're an aunt, you're an uncle, your father, your mother, you're all of those things and more to us. You're family with us. Always safe. Thanks for being around. Now that that's out of the way, now that I had my brain suddenly come to that auspicious notion of, hey, there's 10% of the population and they're trying to sacrifice 10%. Hey, they're basically tithing to their God, aren't they? Oh, I hate the way that my brain operates, but tell me where the lie is, Bridget, you know a little too much about all this shit that's been going on because family and community and stuff.
Yeah.
Putting it in those terms, that seems a little bit more unsettling, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And unfortunately, I'm related to some people who would gladly pay that tithe.
Yeah. And I really hate that. And like I said earlier, you and I, we're part of the furry community. We know full well that the neurodivergent, the LGBTQ plus community, that makes up roughly, I forget what the number is, but roughly 25%, if I remember right, for the furry community. It's been a while. We got to get Dr. Nuka back again. It's been too long. But yeah, we have an interesting community in the furry community, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We have friendly people. We also have very kinky people with kinks that would not normally be considered fun stuff. Like vor, things like that. But also some of the brightest minds on earth.
This is true.
And you know what? I'm calling you out. You didn't read the host chat. I still need a moment.
Well, I have to apologize. The section of that monitor is actually blocked by my microphone stand, so I didn't see anything blip over there. That's my fault. Okay, sorry. I'll take the hit on that one. So, yeah, I think it's worth calling that part out for reasons. The furry community, being what it is, we have a number of folks who are, let's just say, different. I think that's the nicest way of putting it. Because we have some who are scientists. We have some who are technologists. We have scientists of so many descriptions, it's not even funny, especially in the biomedical field. I've talked about one of the guys that I know who is an amazing scientist in his own right, researcher. And Bridget, I think I've mentioned about this one before. The guy who he and his team worked on and crafted a system that produces freeze-dried platelets. And that's something that, when they started down that path, you can't do that. It's not possible to do that and have a viable product come out the other end. Yeah, they did it. They tested it on animals, and it works in battlefield conditions, which is exactly what it's designed for. Because platelets... Go ahead.
I can just see them going, it's not going to work? Challenge accepted. We're going to make this work.
Yeah, not too far from that, by the way. I might add. I mean, you want to talk about the biomedical version of skunkworks? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And for anybody that's wondering what skunkworks is, probably is, I don't know. Skunkworks was the system, the very super secret aircraft development system in place by the U.S. government. Amongst other things, they crafted the U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, the F-117, the B-2. So, stuff that's like super, super secret that you don't know nothing about. Yeah, it's them. And chances are, if you find out about something that they've been working on and somebody says, oh, yeah, that's a skunkworks thing, your information's probably 20 years out of date already.
Mm.
Yeah, they produce some amazing stuff. And what are they working on today? I have no idea. And I think I want it better that way.
Yep. You're working on stuff? Okay, fine. You can work on all the stuff you need to work on. I'm just going to be over here in the corner.
Yep.
Well, the thing that concerns me, actually scares me, is the talk of these wellness camps for people who would, fall into this category.
Yep. Memory serves, didn't Germany have a little something to do with that in the 30s as well?
Yeah, but some of the ideas that Germany got on that came from us.
Yeah. I will admit, however, that ideas are one thing. Putting them into actual deathly practice is a slightly different setting, though. I'm not saying that good things by comparison. Just saying credit where credit is not due. Or is, in this case.
Yeah, so the furry community is some of the brightest people on the planet. I think one of the reasons why they do what they do as furries is because the amount of things that they have to deal with that are life-changing, world-changing, is just too much for their poor little brains. So they need some sort of release in order to go back and do what they need to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of us who just need order in lives, and in some cases it's a matter of that, I know how to do this because I've read every book on this topic, because that's what I do. I study because I study. So everything about the internal workings of the TCP/IP system, sure, I know how to write a TCP/IP stack. You need a gray hat hacker to find stuff. Yeah, I can do that for you. What do you want to find out?
That's a pretty nifty skill to have.
It is. It is, admittedly. It is also one of those things that if the thing is, well, as when we were talking with Dallin last night, this is not going to seem like it works. Just bear with me a second. We were talking about the various lotteries and how much money they were starting to cross over into, upwards of $1 billion. I know, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
But he said the usual thing, nobody would know that I won the $1 billion, but there would be signs, there would be indications. But if you know where to look in the furry communities, you can spot various things in people's personalities, how they comport themselves, what they talk about, what they show interest in. And it's a good portion of it is because, a lot of us are oversharers, even in our not wanting to be out with people kind of thing. But when it comes to learning stuff that interests us, we are the worst nerds in the world. We really are. Because you want to know which button panel on the TARDIS is the one that controls reintegration back into the time stream. I could name you at least one person who would know exactly that. You want to know all things technology-based? We got people for that. I mean, like I was saying, Dr. Nuka, we've had him on before. He is a research scientist. Is the furry part of him what helps him be part of that research group for fur science? Don't know. Don't know that it matters. But we've got groups who just go out there because something is out of order. And I'm the only one to fix it. Or at least they think so. They don't talk about it, but they just go ahead and they do. They read, they study, they memorize. Oh my God, do they memorize?
Mm-hmm.
And then they just do. And if they're lucky enough, they just do and get a good price tag for their services because they sold themselves well. It is not wrong to say the internet works on the furries. It is not wrong to say that we make the internet work.
Maybe not us specifically, but members of our community make the internet work.
Oh, hell yeah. And one of the, I have to choose words carefully here for a reason, one of the most recent vaccination systems was designed and crafted and created by furries. And I forget who it is, but quote unquote, we know who it is because they went ahead and they said, yeah, by the way, any of you that have been taking this particular vaccine, whatever it's called, yeah, that's me. That's my research. And us in the furry community were of two minds at the same time. Holy shit, we did that? Oh yeah, it was him? Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks. So part of the reason why I wanted to go into this whole thing is also because, like I said, for the furry community, it's twice the hit for us because of the demographic makeup compared to the regular population.
It's more than twice. It's
Well, like I said, going with a number of roughly 10%. The furry community, if I remember right, it's like 2025. But again, it's been a while since we had Nuka on. I should see about that. So we collectively, I do believe that I speak for all of us, believe that all rights are human rights and all humans are humans. And by the transitive property, all humans deserve human rights. And if anybody's got a problem with that, go pound sand.
Yep.
GFD, as we would say in back in high school for my band. Yeah, those are the days.
Yeah.
FOAD?
RTFM?
Well, that's not quite the same thing, but I mean, we want to go ahead and start getting into TLAs. That's perfectly fine. By the way, TLA stands for 3-letter acronym. Unless you want to start getting into ETLA, which is an extended 3-letter acronym, or HETLA, which is a hyper-extended 3-letter acronym. There's some people right now who are just like counting on their fingers, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, how did he? Yeah, this is how our brains work over here." Hi, have you met us? I still have more wine over here. Leave me alone. Crap, no, I don't.
Gone.
Yep, that's the last little bit. And I am not having any more. I remember what I did the last time that I had like a lot of wine on the show. That was 1.5 liters over the course of 2 hours. That's over my limit. I found that out the hard way. That was over my limit.
You can have another glass, just not a third.
No, I can't.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't. And I can tell you why. Because
there isn't enough to fill up the glass.
No. There is still plenty of wine still left in the bottle. The problem is, here I am, sitting comfortably in my chair, and I am constantly trying to make sure that I am still balanced in it. I did not eat a lot for dinner, so I think now's a good time for me to just, I'm right where I want to be.
Hey, Bridget, he's for schnookered. He's for schnookered.
I am not.
He's say the ABCs backwards.
I couldn't do that still cold drunk anyway. Who are you kidding? ZYX, that's as far as I can get.
ZYX, WVUTS. Shall I keep on going?
No.
Docious aliexpiasticfragicalarupus.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious. If we say it loud enough, we'll always sound precocious.
If we get DMCA'd, it's all because of you now. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Your fault, IO.
Yeah. So the point of the whole damn thing, like I said, I hate the way that my brain operates sometimes, because this kind of came to me, and it's one of those revelatory things where it's just like, okay, 10% of the population, 10% for tithing. They're kind of cutting into our population that way because it's an easy mark. Yeah. And it absolutely terrified me that not because I had to listen to my brain on this one, because there are some thoughts that have come through my brain this way that have been wonderful for me to play with. But this is one where it's just like, I don't know, man. Give an example of one of the smaller things. Because if there's one thing that we've learned about how this has been happening in politics in the United States for the last 50 plus years, is that it's always just that one little thing. It's just that one little thing. It's fine. It's just this little thing. You're overreacting to everything. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And then, 50 years later, we're in the hellscape that we are.
Mm-hmm.
I turn your attention to the dick of the United States, Florida. They had a street where the crosswalk was alternating rainbow colors. And for whatever reason, somebody, not going to name names over here, decided, no, we're just gonna paint it over so it's just black and white like everything else, the way it's supposed to be. No, the community wasn't having it. Community kept coming out and repainting it with the rainbow colors, even though they were being arrested for it. They said, nope, not today. Just gonna keep going. I grandly appreciate them. I don't know that I would have the ability of doing that kind of thing. Not because I'm not brave enough, but because I don't have the ability of dealing with the fallout if I were caught doing something like that. I'm not thrilled about that, but only so much that I can do. Same as a lot of other people, and we understand that.
Yeah,
why?
but it's just sad that they would try to destroy a memorial like that.
Yeah, and the reason still comes up, why? That
Vindictiveness, I guess, or hate.
the level of petty is simply staggering. It really is. Because I don't know what to make of it. I don't remember
I
who's.
think
Sorry.
cruelty is the point. I think the cruelty is the point.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. It has become exceedingly difficult to get away from the cruelty is the message. Because you keep looking at it from that standpoint. How do you argue with that? It's almost impossible to now. And that shit don't fly with me. I don't get it. I really don't.
It's because the current administration has made cruelty an easy way to get things done, shall we say? Especially since a bunch of people were pardoned when they shouldn't have been.
True that.
But they're also othering people and punishing those others.
Which has
Whether
been
it's
which has been
Yeah.
the Republican game plan for as long as I've been alive. I mean, I've talked about it before, that even when I was a
Yeah.
kid, I remember how, and I've talked about this before, how during campaigns, the Democrats, they are tax and spend Democrats. It's like, even as a kid, I'm like, you tax so that you have money, and then what are you supposed to do with the money? You're supposed to spend it on services. So, yeah, why is this a problem? I mean, I'm like 10 years old, and I'm not political at this point, and even I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? That's the way it's supposed to be. It's the way it's always been. What? Stephanie has pointed out, by the way, control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's not just at that point the LGBTQ community. It's anyone who is not already in power.
Yep. And the best way to control people is by fear.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing, but I want to add to that fear, and I'm not quite sure how to word it directly. Because I don't want to say uneducation, although that is part of it. I'm trying to come up with whatever the concept is supposed to be for keeping people fearful and unaware of how to deal with the problem itself or the feelings.
Well, where I was going with that is religion does the same thing. They control you with fear.
Agreed. Heavily agreed.
And so if you can get people afraid of people that are in the LGBTQIA community, or get people afraid of Black people or Latinos or, just anybody. You've got all these in-groups and out-groups, and there's no shortage of out-groups. If you think that you're in the in-group, you can be in the out-group just like that.
Yeah.
Next on the list.
Yeah, we've talked about that it doesn't really much matter when we're talking about. There has always been the next boogeyman.
Yep.
I mean, it was the Germans, and then it was the Italians, and then it was the Irish, and then it was the African Americans, and then it was the
It's
Chinese.
still the African Americans.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but I mean the different waves of folks that have been coming over here, because it's gone in waves, over the centuries.
Yep.
But
I thought you meant the othering.
That part too. But I was kind of leading up into that. But yeah, you're not wrong. For whatever reason, this society, when I talk society, I like to mean worldwide. This time I need to make sure that it's understood that I'm talking about the American society specifically. For whatever reason, over the vast majority of its time and the vast majority of its areas has been very much, there's just another boogeyman. For no reason. For no reason. Only because something is new. Someone is new. You have a traveler in your midst. Treat them as well as you would your own family. Yeah, that's kind of paraphrasing from the Bible. And who pays attention to that kind of... Oh, right. The Bible thumpers. Well, not that part we don't pay attention to.
Jesus is woke.
Oh my God. Have you seen some of those interviews with people? There are people who have done interviews with just man on the street people with the red hat brigade, and they're just like, well, do you follow the Bible? As much as I possibly can. Okay, well, what are you thinking about this particular passage about, protect the people who are coming through your, the travelers in your land, that you should treat them like, I forget what the wording is, but basically treat them well. No, I don't follow something like that because, I mean, they're here illegally. They don't have their papers. I don't see where it says if they're illegal. I don't think Jesus said that. Well, I need to go over here now. People.
Well, and the thing about where we are now is even people who are here legally, they're taking their documentation and saying, no, you're not.
Yeah. Yeah, as if that makes any sense. But
it doesn't. I mean, you hear all these people say, well, I don't mind people coming over if they come over the right way. And then you have people who are trying to come over and follow the laws, the quote unquote right way. and show up for the immigration hearings and get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And worse yet, the ones who try to follow the way that things are supposed to be going and go talk to the kiosk that's supposed to be set up with people who are staffed there who are supposed to be knowledgeable. And no, we don't have the funding for that, so it's closed. It's not just not open for business today, it's closed.
Forever.
Why? So yeah, it's just why? Is that what makes us so much different people, groups like us, that look at human beings and just go, yeah, it's a human person. Human rights. Yeah. What's the problem? Are we really that different from everybody else?
Unfortunately, yes.
I don't get it. I just don't get it. Part of the problem.
It's the ill education of the American populace, for one.
Yeah.
Children are not really educated anymore, depending on which state you're in. Some states, they just shove you through until you get to high school graduation, and then you're on your own. Oh, you've got a lunch debt? Well, sorry, kiddo, you can't eat, even if it's the only meal that you're going to be having all day. You know, America used to be a land where there was opportunity, there was hope. If shit happened, you got taken care of. That was 40s, 50s, and a little bit of the 60s, and then stuff started to fall apart. And it just keeps on falling apart. Every single time a Republican comes into power, stuff gets cut. Social Security, Medicare. Every time a Democrat comes into power, they try and undo what the Republicans have done and fix it and bring it back to what it was, where Americans actually lifted people up. Maybe not out of poverty, but at least try to make sure that the populace had a basic level of health. There's even a YouTube video from 30s, 40s, 50s, and it explains why 3 or 4 cents of every dollar in taxes paid goes to public health and why it's needed. And now, the thought of public health is, what? No, vaccine's bad. Public health bad.
Stephanie pointed out over here, heck, that dates back long before the Europeans invaded the Americas. I know of the Huguenots. I'm going to pause right there for just a second because I know that I read that correctly the first time in my head, which kind of surprised me a little bit because all I could hear in my head, and I'm going to make Bridget laugh right about now, all I could hear in my head was the hitty titties. I know of the Huguenots who fled here, meaning the UK, from France and brought their skills. They had a dodgy start before being integrated. Yeah. And I just pulled up and posted into the show notes and make sure it's in there, the sonnet of the new Colossus, which reads in part, famously, "Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shores. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." I would not be at all surprised if somebody in France was holding up a piece of paper with a receipt taped onto it that said, "Yeah, we'd like it returned, please, thank you. If you're not going to use it right, we're just going to take it back."
I'm going to have to do some digging because I can't find it easily. But there was about a 6-minute video on why you should be happy to pay your income tax, and especially that little bit that goes to public health.
I'd like to go to public health, and I'd like public health to actually mean something, again, for a change. Now, I want everybody to understand. IO knows better than we do what public health was like in Canada. But I dare say it's better than nothing.
Public health in Canada meant that everybody had the right to a minimum level of health care, a minimum level. It didn't matter if you were rich, poor, the homeless person down on Skid Row, or a kid at school. If shit hit the fan, you had that health care. You needed a vaccine, you could go get a vaccine, and you didn't have to, oh, here's my insurance card too, so you can bill my insurance. And I don't have insurance, but here's the rest of the money in order to pay it. No, it didn't matter where you went, be it the public health office, pharmacy, doctor's office, hospital, wherever you went for vaccine, it was provided essentially free of charge because the taxes paid for it. The stupid thing about the American healthcare system, the amount of money that is going into insurance payments, one way or the other, that the average person pays, because the average American does pay their insurance, that money, if it went into taxes instead and was put specifically into a healthcare fund, everybody in the United States could be covered, just like they are in Canada, in the UK, in Australia, and all these other countries, in France. But nope, healthcare here is buyer beware, and you better have the money up front.
And I remember Dallin even saying, if I paid an extra $100 in health taxes, I forget what it was that he said, a year, a month, whatever the hell it was, so that me on the left-hand side of the country would be helping to support a 6-year-old kid, in Prince Edward Island, get a heart transplant so that they could live a life. Yeah, I'll do that. Why not? I may not ever know about it, but yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, here a woman said the same thing.
Yeah.
The problem is that Americans have grown up with this feeling of, I've got mine, fuck you.
Yeah.
I've got my Medicaid, I've got my Medicare, I've got my state insurance. I've got the stuff that I pay for. I'm not going to pay a single penny in order to help you. Even though the Medicare, the Medicaid, and the state funded is all tax based.
And
it gets complicated, but still. And
for
the United States can afford to have health care for all, whether it's called Medicaid for all, Obamacare, the Americans Health Act, or whatever. It doesn't matter what it's called. They can afford as a collective, but people are like, nope, we don't want to do this. And the insurance companies are just raking in the dough.
Yep. I remember, back in the 70s when health insurance was nonprofit. But Blue Cross and Blue Shield used to be a nonprofit.
Now they're not.
No, they're not. Yep.
There's actually a Luigi Mangione bill that's going through California. I forget exactly what it is, but it's basically that health insurers are no longer allowed to deny, delay, and defend. They must pay for stuff that physicians say. And it's in the process.
Okay, this is.
But at the same time, Medicare is getting ready to, I don't remember which 8 states it is, but they're getting ready to use AI that's outsourced to another company to deny Medicare stuff. And then this partner of theirs that has the AI gets, paid a percentage of the savings.
And also, the insurance companies use doctors that might not understand what's going on with the patient in order to deny. And they won't say what the doctor's credentials are, or even the doctor's first and last name, so they can be checked.
Yep.
You know the lady that back, I believe in December, said that United Healthcare stopped my surgery so that I could talk to them because they needed to talk to me right then and there.
Mm-hmm.
My patient's on the table, unconscious, having her breasts done because breast cancer, and United Healthcare wanted to know if it was supposed to be an overnight stay or not because they were denying it. Yeah.
Yeah. I just pulled up the information for Blue Cross Blue Shield Association over on Wikipedia. Now, the thing that I was going looking for has very outdated information. Now, what I mean by that is that I was hoping to get information that was, 2-3 years out of date. According to this, the information that is currently posted on Wikipedia is from 2014.
It's way out of date.
What I was looking for was specifically revenue versus expenses. From 2014, this article shows, now assuming, of course, the information is accurate. Wikipedia tends to be far and away more accurate than not. However, with a grain of salt, as they say. Revenue, and I'm going to round just a little bit, $457 million. Expenses, $450 million. So according to my quick math over here, thank you, calculator, that's $7.75 million profit. Now,
We're not now.
Now, is that what's going on currently?
Nope.
No.
Oh, hell yeah. They're
No.
doing, but higher profit.
Now, let's assume for just a moment that maybe, just maybe, numbers have been flat for 10 years. We know that they're not, but just humor a drunk old man for a second. This is one insurance agency, arguably one of the best known in the United States. If I wanted to, I could probably name you off 7 from days gone by for me that I've known about. Now, I'm not somebody that's been in the industry dealing with insurance companies. Bridget, I'm not going to put you on the block to name names, but if you to just, off your hands, just off the top of your head, how many insurance companies do you think that you could think of just by name, just off the top of your head after everything you've been through?
I'll name names. Blue Cross and Blue Shield, Anthem, Humana, Aetna, United Healthcare, Meritain. Trying to think of some other ones.
Does GHI still exist?
GEHA does. I don't know about GHI.
It's been a long time.
But one thing that I can tell you, and I don't mind naming names, is Anthem and United Healthcare have had class action lawsuits against them by doctors for not getting paid in a timely manner because what they're doing is sitting on payments to collect the interest.
Yep.
And another thing that I can tell you is United Healthcare also owns Change Health. They own Optima. And for anybody who's worried about their information being public, Change Healthcare had a ransomware attack a couple of years ago, and approximately 280 million Americans had their health data compromised because of this ransomware attack.
Brilliant.
And most, I know United Healthcare and some of the other companies that use Change Health require claims to be filed through Change Healthcare. And so for months, doctors were not able to get paid on their claims because of this ransomware attack. And they ended up paying, I think it was like $3 billion and some change, to get their information and usage back.
So they paid the ransom.
But they paid the ransom. They had to. But in the meantime, you had smaller doctors' practices that were going under because they could not get their reimbursements because of Change Healthcare.
And they have
so it ended up causing, across the industry, trillions of dollars in damages. And the fallout from it is still ongoing.
Yeah, I got a letter about something like that, that my information had been compromised.
Yeah, I mean, last time that I looked at it, it was 280 million people had their information compromised.
Okay, about the California bill. If the
Wait. What California bill are we talking about now?
The Luigi Mangione bill.
Okay.
The initiative would make it illegal for insurance companies to delay, deny, or modify any medical procedure or medication suggested by a licensed physician in the Golden State, which could have serious consequences such as disability, death, amputation, permanent disfigurement, loss or reduction of any bodily function. If the initiative is enacted, any decision by an insurer to delay, deny, or modify can only be made by a physician on behalf of any insurer. The initiative would also make it a felony to employ someone who is not a physician to review a decision made by a physician.
Hell yeah. I'm on board
But
there.
this is only in California, though, because California has nicer things than the rest of the country.
Yes.
Yeah.
But.
And I think it's up for the election in November, as well as the other election the other ballot measure that's up for voting on, which is the gerrymandering.
Yeah, about that.
One, I'm absolutely adoring watching Newsom's stuff go across my feeds, especially the replies from the current administration. It's like they're pulling their hair out.
Well, all he's doing is mirroring back, what, Cheeto Mussolini is, throwing out there. And it's hilarious to watch the people on Fox as like, this is so unprofessional and you shouldn't be doing this for a politician. And it's like, well, look at what Cheeto's doing. And all he's doing is mirroring it back.
It's popcorn worthy. I sit there literally eating the popcorn, just watching the fallout from everything because
it's funny.
He can't help but go ballistic over it. He just can't help it. It's in his nature, the current administration, and it's in all of their natures, because I think somebody else took over the Twitter account recently. It was too coherent what was coming from the current administration. It was
I agree.
Coherent.
The grammar was too correct. A lot of the all cap stuff went away. I think somebody else was definitely writing those tweets. World truths or whatever the hell they are. Because it was too coherent.
Because Taco had disappeared for 4 or 5 days?
Mm-hmm.
And he finally reappears almost in perfect health.
Almost. You can tell that something was done to him and they're hiding it. If that had been Biden, if that had been Obama, it would have been 24/7. Where's the president? Where's the president?
CNN, MSNBC, CBS, globally, CBC, BBC, everywhere would be where is the president? Where is the current president? Where is the current president? Who's in charge of the United States right now? I think J.D. Vance might have been technically in charge of the United States for a couple of days there.
Yeah, but I think Stephen Miller is the one that's running the show.
Yep.
Well, it's nice to know that the vampires are out there doing what they're supposed to do. Sucking everything dry.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the funny part is, every once in a while, I have The West Wing, meaning the TV series The West Wing. I have it on DVD. I ripped it to put onto my server. I own my own legal copy. Thank you very much. And every once in a while, I kind of go back to it and rewatch it again. And I know there are some people who are just like, they have their favorite books that they go back to. Opus.
That was a good series. I've got the complete DVD set.
Yeah.
It's a good series.
Opus the Penguin famously would go back every once in a while to read, I forget what it was from Harper Lee. He just would. Which, by the way, when that ended up being in the cartoons, Harper actually got in touch with Burke on this lovely manual typewriter with manual erasures and retyping on it, because she requested a copy of the panel that he did. And he's just like, you know what? How could I say no? And sent the original, because of course he did. But every once in a while I go back to it, and it hurts me to look at that and think, this was one of the last times where there was a true acknowledgement of good faith, bad faith politics. Yes, it's fiction, but still, there was a depiction that most of the people on either side of an issue were working in good faith. There were a handful that were not. I mean, no lie. But they were not the organization. Fast forward to today, and of course, you know, there are people who would look at that now and be like, how could you have ever been that naive? You know?
Well, I mean, back in the 70s, you know, there was a lot of gridlock, of course, but people did actually try to work together and compromise, and, you know, they wouldn't get everything that they wanted, but they would work together. I remember.
And work towards the better good.
I remember those days.
Yeah, and now it's not towards the better good, it's towards my own good. Or worse yet, it's towards the billionaire's good.
Yeah, I mean, it's towards the oligarchs' good, but everything now is to, scare quotes, own the libs. But it's like, since you're wrecking the economy and doing all this horrible crap, you're not going to be able to own us anymore. You might be able to rent us. But, you know, we're all getting owned.
Somewhere in all of my stuff that I was watching over the last 2 days, maybe 3, there was a short, I believe it was a short, about how if we're expected to work all this time, then why aren't the companies responsible for keeping us healthy? More specifically, why isn't the government not responsible for keeping us healthy? Why don't we have health care? I'm going to have to find it. It's going to take me a couple days, because I've got stuff happening between for the next 48 hours.
That's fine.
I mean, they should because, I mean, in our founding documents, they're supposed to promote the general welfare.
And the general welfare includes health. The
Well,
general
health and
well,
making sure that, people can earn a living and have food and a, place to live.
if you provide health care for somebody from conception to grave, you have a healthier society. If,
Mhm.
however, the person is having to scramble for their health care, they're not going to go when it's something minor. It's going to be something catastrophic. And at that point in time, they might as well just roll over and die.
Well, I think that's what they want.
Stephanie had pointed out, by the way, and I was pretty much of the same regard, by the way. And yeah, this is kind of stepping back a couple of steps. I think he had a stroke, but I'm no doctor.
Yeah, I think he did too.
I think it's very likely also. And I also
Mhm.
do believe that it would be stress induced, which I
Go Gavin, go Gavin,
don't
go Gavin.
believe that
Or abusing amphetamines,
would not be at all
which
surprised.
we know that he does. I mean, you can tell on some of his press conferences and things. You look at how dilated his pupils are.
Ooh, I think I found it. The public health for so much for so little. It was a 1949 Academy Award winner.
But the
And I
piece,
think what they're trying to do now is cull the population.
yeah, the piece that was being quoted before, by the way, was from the Preamble to the United States Constitution, which states,
Mhm.
now, I want folks to understand this is the literal originating sentence before getting into the government shall. This is the treatise that says this is what we're here for. And it states, and I quote, "We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America."
We the people, in order to form a more perfect. This is a Canadian singing it. Why? Because that Schoolhouse rock came across the border, and it was part of my Saturday morning cartoons.
And it's a fabulous it's a fabulous piece.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
What this states in its purpose, we the people of the United States. These were a group of guys who got together and were just like, look, we finally kicked King George's ass back home to Britain. We are now our own separate community. We, each of our individual states, are now joining together in as one cohesive unit. In order to form a more perfect union, we want something that better than what we just got rid of. We want something that will be proper for what we believe in. We don't think that what we were under was right. Establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. We want things that we believe are good for ourselves, for our children, our children's children, our lineage going forward, and those that are around us, our people. We do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. This is our way of saying this is how we want an organization to operate, to make sure that everyone's provided, and everyone has the opportunity. The loftiest of goals for a group of ragtag folks that were insurgent guerrilla fighters to kick out one of the biggest, baddest, most feared militaries in the world. and said, you know what? We want better. And this is how we're going to do it. The loftiest of goals when all is said and done. And these people are pissing on it because the smallest of us, those with the weakest political pull, with the smallest voices, or almost none, are the ones that they're saying, we can just walk all over them. Who cares? When this document is supposed to be saying every one of them matters and they shouldn't be at the expense of somebody else. I'm sorry if I get on my, I'm sorry if I get on my, I'm sorry if I get on my high horse about this, but I do firmly believe that my country was not established on the greatest of terms, but the terms that they were attempting to codify just in this one sentence. This was one sentence. This lofty ideal is worthy and should be followed through. And I will fight to the death anyone that wants to tell me otherwise. Figurative death.
It's what all these other countries have figured out. If they provide a minimal standard of living for their people will be healthier and better able to generate income in order to pay taxes. It's a circle.
Yeah, and once upon a time ago, not too very long ago, you might remember that there was a certain vaccination program. Actually, wait a minute. There were several vaccination programs in my lifetime that were done free of charge. There was one just a handful of years ago, but remember, in conjunction with the World Health Organization, there was one that was supported very heavily by this country to help eradicate what was that disease, Bridget, that was documented even as far back as to ancient Egyptian pictographs?
Smallpox.
And polio.
Yeah, polio too. Those two have, well, polio has not been quite eradicated from the world. Smallpox exists in frozen bodies and in maybe a couple of test tubes somewhere. But they've said that they've destroyed it all, the powers that be. But it's still might exist on frozen bodies that are found on, I don't know, glaciers like Everest.
But like I said, smallpox was documented in pictographs from ancient Egypt going back 15,000 years. We eradicated it like that because we had the will.
We didn't just have the will, we were going to get rid of it because it was killing people.
Yeah, but it had been killing people for literal thousands of years. But then we learned how to do it. And then suddenly, this is for the public good. Let's go ahead and do it worldwide. In the span of the blink of an eye, by figurative sense, gone. It took under 20 years. Gone.
Bit more than that, but yeah. 20 years in North America, 40 years for the rest of the world. Because there was pockets that they had to send people to.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I somewhat retract part of my statement, but
it was eradicated in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well under.
I think 74 or 76 it was declared eradicated. I don't remember exactly.
Yes, the last one
Something
was
like
in Africa, as I recall.
And they last stopped giving vaccines in Canada in the 70s. I'm from one of the generations that they didn't give it to. And I thought it was because of my mother's reaction to the smallpox vaccine, which makes me part of the anti-vax crowd, but that's only because I'm worried about vaccine reactions. Immediate vaccine reactions, like within 72 hours.
Yeah, that's fair. Holy hell. I apologize. I just looked down into the side, and I only just realized what time it is.
Holy.
I've been getting on my own high horse over here. Shut up. And I didn't realize
It's your show.
it's my show. Yes, but at the same time, I have things that I got to do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's your horse with no name.
Well, it does have a name. It's just unpronounceable. Actually, that would be really cool. If you could name your horse anything, could you name it unpronounceable?
Probably.
That'd be funny. You know, the Four Horsemen, I wonder what the names of the horses themselves are. This is how my brain operates. This is how my brain operates.
My brain decides it wants to go for a trip through the Y files. Oh, yay! Let's have some fun there. Conspiracy theories galore.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Ack. See, I'm still coughing.
Me too.
Yeah, but well, IO for you, that's a good thing because it means that you're still able to breathe and potentially get, something more than 85% oxygenation into your blood. That's always a good number. And Bridget, that's not so good for you because that means that there could be something seeping through the walls. I don't particularly care for that idea right now.
Okay, I'm beginning to hate Discord. I'm not sure if it's Discord or if it's your phone and your relays, but you start talking and you
Cut out.
you keep on talking.
I'm not.
And you keep on talking.
I'm not using.
And you stop. And you start. And you stop. Whatever it is, you're in the middle of a rant, and I lose 3-4 words, sometimes an entire long sentence, and I can't keep track. So there's something wrong with your software.
Yeah, I'm hearing it too.
Yeah, I think there's a really good possibility that it's just that I might have the volume cranked a little bit too high. I've never been able to figure out the way that this system that I'm working with is currently running under Windows 10. I'm very likely going to be running back into Linux again because of the way that things are weird. It used to be, forgive me for being technical for a second. It used to be that under various Microsoft Windows operating systems, you had far and away more access to the inner workings so that you could adjust things. And they were easily found. Windows 10, it may have happened differently under earlier revisions. But at this point, me trying to find the stuff that I would have otherwise used to fine-tune my audio inputs and figure out where the gain control is and all that stuff, I can't easily find that. I have never been able to easily find that. So it is entirely possible the problem is the audio coming from my microphone into the mixer into the computer is just too loud, and Discord is automatically, throttling it, clipping it so that it's not going through. And that's what that is. I have no way of knowing because I can't find any information that tells me. So I try. And apparently the Linux side, I've got it fine, tuned in just fine. But I come over into the Windows side and there's some setting I don't know anything about and I can't fix it.
I think it is Windows because I have something similar. My headphones will just stop working. They will just stop working. And they're Bluetooth headphones. And the only way to get them working again is to reboot the computer.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off. So every single morning when I turn on my computer and I turn on my headphones, I wait to get both messages on my headphones to tell me that my computer is fully operational before I actually log in. If it doesn't, then I have to reboot my computer.
Yeah, gotta love it. So forgive us
And
for
and I
kinda
got
going
a
through that.
I got it and I got a new set of Bluetooth headphones, and they don't want to talk to my computer at all. But they have a backup which is wired. So I'm thinking maybe I should try the wired part to see if that works. Because if that works and they work and I can talk on Discord, maybe I can use them because they're nice over the ear headphones and I really don't want to return them because they're nice and sound blocking and I like them.
Yeah, it's fair enough. Stephanie's pointed out the latest Windows 11 upgrade is a downgrade, apparently, i.e., it brings problems.
Yes, it does.
There's also a Windows 11 upgrade that breaks SSDs.
Joy.
Yeah, so this computer, though it's been upgraded, probably could do Windows 11, but truth be told, I have no intention of doing that. And when Windows 10 finally goes end of life, there's very few reasons why I have to use Windows, so I'm not going to worry too much about it. I'll just use it when I need to, and it'll be fine. It's very
You do
rare.
realize end of life is next month.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Why do you think I was bitching yesterday?
Imagine my surprise. I'm not too terribly worried. Like I said, there's only a handful of items. And I was using Windows specifically for doing the show because there was something about Linux that, my Linux setup that did not like audio. So now that it's completely new hardware and all, it shouldn't be an issue. So we'll see about that. We gotta get on out of here because we're running a little bit behind schedule. Everybody, thank you very much for being with us. We hope that you have found something worthwhile in all of our perspectives. You got something to think about for the week ahead. I know I'm not exactly doing the usual of, what last item we got. Io, thank you. If you've got a real quick something to close off with, by all means.
Stephanie says the latest Windows 11 upgrade is a downgrade, apparently. It brings problems. Blackort says, is that downgrade in small or large ways not true of every Windows version ever? Oh, I really, really wish I had my gray hat friends sign off on his email right now because it explains Windows. I wish I had it. I wish I had it. I wish I had it.
Yeah, I get you. Thanks. I'm glad you're able to make it. You take care of yourself, eh?
Yeah, I'm going to try and make it for Friday's show. It depends on what time we get back.
No, that's fair. Bridget, you made it. Holy shit.
I did. I don't have to work tomorrow, which is awesome.
Glad you're able to make it. You take care of yourself also, huh?
Yeah. Now, next weekend, I'm not going to be able to make it because I have to. No, wait a minute. Do I have to work? I can't tell from here. I need new glasses. Yeah, I got to work, so I won't be here.
That's all right. That's all right. Because the following week, I'm going to be in Toronto, so there won't be a week.
Ooh.
There won't be a show that week.
Which I happen to not be working that week because
that's D&D week.
My schedule's wonky. It's just a thing.
I don't have to rush home. I can actually spend time with my friends and have Italian.
Yeah, I'm looking at the calendar, and yeah, I have to work Sunday morning, and I have to be up at like 5 a.m. So yeah.
I will send you pictures, Shu. I will send you pictures of the tiramisu that the guys eat and everything else. One likes spaghetti. Somebody else, one of the other ones likes the Parmesan and stuff. Me, I like the tortellini with Alfredo sauce. And yes, they make fresh Alfredo sauce.
And for you people out there who think I'm a wimp, yes, I am, because I'm working like 12-hour shifts and I'm doing back to back next weekend. So
You're not a wimp.
No, hardly. You just take care of yourself, huh? And I didn't even ask. Who is getting your ire for tonight?
I'm going to go with Pete Keg's Breath Kegstand. Wanting to change the Department of Defense to Department of War. What?
Yeah. I think that's fair to go ahead and be all kinds of pissy about. That's fair.
What the hell? Are toddlers running the White House?
Well, I'd like to think that maybe, just maybe, they're just trying to make it like it was back in the Tom and Jerry cartoon era. I'm not selling this really well at all, am I?
But just to rename it the Department of War, it's going to cost billions of dollars for the name change.
For no good reason.
And you know what war stands for, right?
Yeah.
We are right.
Wasn't thinking that, but okay. We'll go with that. Thank you, everybody, for being with us. Over there on the chat, of course, Stephanie, as always, thank you, who has also pointed out, now the word is that Microsoft is using AI. I wish Linux was easier to install. Stephanie? My usual go-to is Ubuntu Linux. If you would like something that is a lot more looking like Windows, I would suggest for you to check out Linux Mint. Either one of those would be fine. Get yourself a thumb drive, throw it on there. You can test drive them in order to check them out. But we can deal with that a little bit later. Ort, thank you. Take care of yourself, please. Would you kindly, please? Could you? Could you? Could you? Thanks. And we'll see you guys next week. Like I said, 2 weeks, I'll be out of town. But other than that, we will be talking to you at that point. So until next week, as always, I wish you all the peace I no longer have. I wish you the strength that I've learned. I wish you well. 1988. It's a lot of years later. I am still in love. Matane Fujin. I love you. I miss you. Dream of me. Till the next time we're together, everyone. As always, good night.